Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Dawn Del Vecchio with a special video for you today. I would like to introduce you to my dear friend, sister priestess, and embodiment coach, Jenny Ashton. Hey, Jenny, welcome. Thank you for being here with me today.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. So the reason for this video is because Jenny is about to conduct a class that has radically changed my experience as a priestess, as an embodied woman. Well, I'd say I'm in that process right now. And I thought it would be really interesting for you all to hear a little bit about Jenny's journey, because there are so many of us right now who feel the intensity of the times that are changing. The journey that we have come to that's brought us here, the places where we're wanting to heal and expand more and be more liberated from old stuff. And I'm really feeling the power of embodiment and jade awakening and the practices that I've learned from Jenny as a major vehicle for me right now. So I figure if that's true for me, it may be true for some of you as well. So, Jenny, I would love for you to share a little bit. Let's see, where should we start? I guess tell us a little bit just basically about what you do first, and then back into how it all began for you and where you were at, why it all started for you, what you were doing, and how you came to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do feminine embodiment work, and I know that's something we hear a lot, embodiment, embodiment. And so my work is really around, first it started with myself, which I'll get into. It's really about helping women feel safe and centered in their body so
Mm.
that they can access sexual pleasure, enjoying life, feeling regulated, all of those things. And the reason that I got into that is because basically, my background is in clinical psychology. So I had conceptualized my gifts, my powers, my traumas, my patterns, all of the things. I had worked with forgiveness. I had done years of therapy and worked in mental health myself. So I was like, there's got to be more to life than this. Like, why, if I've done all of this healing work, if I've done so much therapy, why don't I feel like alive? Why don't I feel connected to my sexual energy? I was incredibly numb. And it's because all of that was happening in my mind. And so I really started to really ask the universe. I remember I was sitting where I do my morning prayers, and I just said to my higher self, send me a teacher, send me somebody who can come into my world and really help me expand. And so multiple people came in. And so it was three different women. One of them I met through Dawn, through you actually. And I was like, let me just follow this current. And I started my own somatic healing journey. And I realized that all of this energy that was in my mind, it wasn't wasted time. It was actually things that just needed to integrate deeper. So when I started to do the somatic healing and actually get the stress cycles and the traumas that were stuck in my tissues processed, and when I started to drop into sacred sexuality and actually work with my numbness, not ignore it, not think it's something I have to fix, but actually as a tool to get to pleasure, being like, why is this numbness coming up? Let me actually talk to it. Let me go in deeper. And before that, I didn't even have the tools to do that. I knew I was numb because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't feeling the aliveness that I saw other beings around me experiencing or me hearing other women talk about. And so I started to do the journey myself. I started to do somatic healing, breath work, shaking, movement. I started to get more into fitness, really getting my energy going through breath work, which changed everything for me. Breath is really, it's everything. It's how we connect with the divine, how we expand pleasure, how we heal. It's so much. I could go on, and then into deeper sacred sexuality practices. And during this time of numbness, I'm married. I've been with my partner for 10 years. And so for 5 of those years, I experienced a lot of numbness. And I think for a lot of women, that goes into what's wrong with me, or shame, or feeling like almost like mercy sex. Like, let me just, let me make this connection happen because my partner deserves it, but I am not into it at all. And so I knew that something was there for me to go deeper. And once I got these tools, although it's still an unfolding journey, I'm in year 5 of doing this work myself, and year 3 of doing this work with women. It still unfolds like deeper and deeper levels for me. But I knew that that top layer of overwhelm, disconnection, anxiety, shame, sadness, because I wanted to, I have this
Mm.
beautiful partner in life that I'm not fully able to connect with. I just knew I had to get through that. And so, through doing the work myself and then going on to be certified, I knew that was the next step of what women needed. Most women I talk to are very self aware. They understand their patterns, they understand what they've been through, and they're like, I'm ready to let this go. And when you connect with the body and when you connect with your natural healing abilities, with your breath, with movement, with pleasure, it happens a lot faster. And I think, like you were just saying, Dawn, like even though you're still in the beginning of the unfolding of that, it's so already so much wisdom coming through, already so much coming through, because it's like our bodies, especially as women, it's our power source. So it's like your body is sitting and waiting for you to connect with it. Your womb energy, your heart energy, it really wants to connect. And then all of this energy that's in your mind can come down. All of your conscious, more conscious gifts, things that you know about money being limitless or knowing you can connect with pleasure, all of it starts to very rapidly kind of move down.
Yeah, thank you. This is really exactly everything she said. It is so much what my experience was and has been as well. I know what my issues are, very self-aware, deep spiritual practices, also athletic, I really in my body in that way. And actually orgasmic as well, but in a very sort of confined way, if you will. I don't need to go into too much detail about it, but it almost like it could be rote, like a muscle release kind of thing. And this I relate so much to what you said about like seeing other women being more alive, more juicy, what I would say juicy, like literally physically, but energetically. And that ties into for me with the creativity as well, feeling this sense of like I know that there's a change that needs to happen in my own ministry, my own work, and yet feeling a kind of numbness around my relationship, not the heart numbness, a lot of love with my husband, but a numbness like there's got to be more than this. And so there's the pleasure aspect, the creativity aspect, the self-regulated. That's another piece that I would love for you to maybe touch on a little bit there. What happens when we do embodiment practices and activate our pleasure more, how that supports self-regulating. So would you, yeah, just unpack that a little bit?
Absolutely. So, one thing I had to also come to terms with is there isn't this point where women who do this work just arrive and then everything becomes easy. You know, I still work with my mentors, and one of my mentors I work with around money because all of this is connected. So, wealth and pleasure and safety. And she's still doing these practices as a multimillionaire. And as
Mhm.
I grow and expand, I still have to keep doing these practices because if you think of as kind of like computer programs, our brain and our nervous system in a way, it's electrical and it finds patterns. If we stop doing the practices altogether because we're like, wow, like I got the house I wanted, I'm connected again, everything's great, so I'm just going to sit back. You can do that for a while, but then old patterns will start to emerge because we have programs. And so when you do small practices of somatic healing, embodiment, or sacred sexuality, however you want to call it, when you do small bits each day, you stay in a really grounded and centered like energy in your body. So although there can be chaos going around you, I mean, look at the world, you still feel safe and you still feel very connected to your heart energy, your intuition. You brought up creativity. That's one of the first things to go out the window when you're not connected So, for women, of course, we have the ability to birth children, but for some of us, that's not our path. And so we can birth incredible careers or art or create all kinds of things if we stay connected to that energy. So to me, it creates a current of very grounded energy so that if I want to, I can feel safe to let my energy expand. I can feel safe to surrender to creativity, to pleasure, to wealth, to deep relationships because I love me and I feel safe in me and I have the tools to always bring myself back to myself.
And that's that self-regulation. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when
Yeah.
that's not there, it's not that things can't work out for you here and there, but you don't necessarily know how it happened. You're like,
Right.
why did that period of my life like unfold the way it did? And it's most likely because for that brief moment, you felt really safe. And for a lot of us, we think it's another person that gave us that, when really they were a key. They were showing us how much love we have inside of our body. They're showing us, how when we feel safe, how the distance we can really go with receiving divine energy, receiving love, receiving wealth. And so these little practices to do each day, they keep you open to receive because we're in a world that a lot of us want to protect ourselves from. That's very natural, but you don't want to protect yourself from the goodness, from why it's fun to be alive, which is sexual energy and connection and creativity and flow and all of those things.
Lovely. I recently received a message from a sister who is joining your upcoming course, who had a revelation around the awareness that her sexual energy didn't have to be related to her spouse, and that was a big liberation for her, like just a aha. And it's certainly, I see you're getting excited. And it's
Yes,
certainly what I'm experiencing here. It's not that I don't want that energy with my spouse. I do, but it's nice also to be like, and there's so much we could talk about here. It's
I
not
know.
about just going and like, having an orgasm. It's about the pleasure. It's about the embodiment. It's about the feeling safe to just have some time to myself that isn't just, oh, I should get something done, or I'll take a bubble bath, or I'll go shopping. No, it's this
Mhm.
deeper level of peacefulness and expansion that comes when I do these little practices daily. So, I would love for you to share maybe a story or two about someone you've worked with, if you have any like kind of transformational story, and then to share with us a bit about the program that's coming up.
Absolutely. So, to touch on also what you just said, you are tuning into energetic nourishment. So, the bubble baths are amazing. I'm a water person, face masks, do them, like, do all the little things that make you feel good. But those typically don't recharge your battery to the depth that sexual energy can.
Mm.
And so when you go in and connect with your own inner world and with your own body, you're feeling your battery recharge. It becomes very nourishing. Earlier, you brought up the physical orgasm. That's like a muscle release. And for a lot of women, that's what they've experienced. But when you can go in and actually connect with your energy, that's when things really transform. And so that's also what I see with my clients. So I've worked with women of so many different backgrounds from as young as 24 all the way to 73. I've worked with women who are lawyers, realtors, yoga teachers. Like at the end of the day, it's not about that external version of yourself you're creating, which is beautiful. It's your inner world, which all women should know how to be connected with. And so, what I see with a lot of my clients, one of them in particular just came to mind, is having a wonderful life that they haven't fully enjoyed. And so this woman, for example, was with her husband since they were 18 and they were about 50, she was about 53 when she started with me. She is like, I can't complain. I have an amazing partner, an amazing house. Property is great. I love my dog. We travel. We retired on time. All of the things I wanted, I have. So why am I not enjoying it? Why can I not connect to pleasure? Why, all of these things that humans want, it's very natural to desire these things. And it was because she was so successful externally and so successful on paper, but she didn't know how to cultivate that inner connection. And so in a matter of, I would say, only 2 months of doing these practices, she was like, it's like we're in college again with her husband.
Aw.
Yeah. She just needed to know how to connect with the self. Nothing about him changed. Nothing about their environment changed on the external. It was her connecting with her inner world and knowing how to create safety within herself. And so I went on to work with her longer, and she came to my Costa Rica retreat, which was beautiful. And I got to meet her husband. It's always fun when you see, when you get to meet the other person who's like, thank you for, these tools. Really, it's not so much me. Like, granted, yes, because of my background, my personal experience and all of that, I hold my container in a certain way, but I can't emphasize enough the power of the tools. You can come in and learn these, and we're going to talk about jade egg in a moment, and learn all of these, and then you're going to get to know your body in a way on what makes you feel relaxed, what makes you feel turned on, what makes you feel energized, what gives you a mix. So it's really about having a toolkit to meet yourself wherever you're at. Like I said, life takes you through waves, and you don't really know what's coming. So you might experience a period of numbness, but instead of scaring you like, oh no, like I'm going to shut down completely, you're like, like, why did this pop up? You get to explore your inner world because you know how to get through things. You know how to return to self and return to pleasure. And that was really what that client found.
Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I mean, I agree that the tools are so key, and like so many women that you've worked with and you've talked about, I was a woman who had a lot of spiritual tools, but I didn't have this set of tools. And so I can relate even to the example that you've just shared of a woman. I mean, I've got, if most people would look at my life and go, "Oh, wow." Especially if you saw what I came from, the humble origins, It's not like I have a lot, but I have my dream on so many levels, but I couldn't fully enjoy it. But I do want to also acknowledge your energy, Jenny. This is why, because I've known a lot of women and who do something, not exactly what you do, but these kinds of things. And because you have done your own inner work, you're holding a field in a very pure and clear way. And I feel that trust in you and the trust to be able to share my community with you. So I do want to acknowledge that. Yeah, it is you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell us about what's coming up. This is a really exciting course. I've gone through it myself. Please share for our audience.
All right, yes. So, whether or not you have heard about the jade egg practice, this is an incredible embodiment tool. So, this is from the Taoist lineage of priestesses from ancient China. And anyone who has kind of learned these tools from modern day teachers, it came from a teacher named Montauk Chia, who is outside of northern Thailand. And obviously, through personal practice, people have made it their own and developed their own practices. But I think it's really important to know that it's been used for thousands of years. And so it's a tool that can connect you to your breath, to your energy meridians that are inside of your body, to teach you to really how to heal yourself, how to map your body so that you know where you hold stress, where you hold your traumas, and where you hold really deep pleasure. And so, as much as I love to say this egg is magic and this egg can change your life, it's really a tool to connect with what's already inside of you. So, the most amazing thing about these practices is you can actually, if you want to, do it without a jade egg. So, it's important and if you decide to go down this path and learning these practices, to know that it's activating what's already inside of you. So don't give your power to the egg by any means. It's really activating what's already within you. And what these priestesses knew is that when you have a relaxed pelvic floor, when you know how to meet your emotions with breath and sound and movement, you can also do that with pleasure. So you can expand into full body orgasms. You can open your heart space. You can move energy and create a relationship with your energy and really channel your intuition and your transmission is an oracle through your body. And they knew this. And so it was kept in secret for a really long time. And that's why I always like to mention Montauk Chia, because he really brought this mainstream. And I'm so grateful for that. But it really gave women a tool to mix all of the embodiment practices. Because one thing I find is women are like, I don't have 2 hours to wake up in the morning and do breath work and then do shaking and then do a pleasure practice and then do Ayurveda and then do, on and on, whatever you're advised to do. And so the amazing thing about this is you can do it in honestly 20 minutes or less or 15 minutes. But if you have about 30 minutes, you can do a really incredible embodiment practice to get yourself regulated, to turn yourself on, to get into your creative energy, to feel connected, to feel resourced. And then you could do it in the middle of the day or at the night if you wanted, but you're creating this really beautiful container for yourself. So in Jade Awakening, the course that I'm offering, it's not just a course about an egg. It's a course where you go in and you learn all of these little tools to help you become your own healer, and also how to really connect with your sexual energy and start to get into the more subtle networks of energy meridians and of the body. And that's something I really want to touch on is we live in a world where it's like go, 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 go fast, go to the gym, do this. Everything is very fiery. And this practice is really going to help you get into your water energy. Of course, fire as well, because jade is a masculine stone, but it's going to help you get in tune with the really quiet inner world that women have. And you can actually feel your energy and connect with it in a way that if you're moving really fast all the time, or if you're in your mind, you don't have access to. And so you're going to get access, especially week 1, to these tools to help you know how to communicate with your body, to help you relax, to release stress, release trauma. And then week 2, we take it deeper into jade egg. So you can really start to get into pleasure and energy.
Beautiful. So the close date for being able to register is July 19th, 2025. And how many weeks is the course? Give us some of the like little details of that, when it
Yeah.
is and all that.
So the course opens on July 19th, and it's a 6-week course that you get lifetime access to. And then once a week on a live call, we come together as a group with mics and cameras off so that you can experience me guiding you through a live practice. And then at the end, there's a Q&A where you can ask me anything. So anything that comes up for you, whether it's emotions or your perceived blocks, or maybe you're celebrating something or something big is happening for you, or maybe both, you can ask me anything you want, and I can then coach you on that live call. Or you can type, if you want to stay more incognito, you can type into the chat and I'll also answer questions there. But it's one of those beautiful things, whether you're coming live or whether you're catching the replay, those calls really allow you to tune into your energy in a whole new way and create space for that. So it's really, really valuable if you can tune into those. Of course, the video modules and the guided audios are incredible, but there is an element to coming together in a group and feeling that combined energy that's really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, I can attest to that. So if this is exciting you, interesting to you, you're curious, you can check the information box for the link. And if you would like to take advantage of a special, you can get, so correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny, this is 100, if they pay in full, it's $100 off with the code Dawn, my name, DAWN, all caps, 100. And if you want to make payments, you can get $50 off. So again, Dawn, DAWN, all caps, 50. So this is a special just for the people who would watch this, people who are in my community who would watch this video. And again, the 19th of January is the final day you can register. So if you're interested, definitely at least have a look at the page, because that alone will fill in, maybe answer some of the questions you might still have, since we're not live in this one and we don't have Q&A. And I can, again, just attest to my personal experience of this being really activating, regulating, inspiring, and healing for me on my own journey. Jenny, anything else you want to say before we complete for today?
I'm just so grateful. Thank you. Especially the live call we did the other day was so powerful. I also got a few emails from women that were such beautiful shares of things that woke up within them. So if you're able to catch that replay, it's still live. There's so much value to dropping in. I take you through a beautiful embodiment practice. So that is still available to you. And that link will also be with the course link.
Yeah, I think, is it on the same page? Or is it a different? It's
It's
on the
on
same.
the temple replay page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, just check out below, find the links,
Yeah.
the special codes that you would put in at on the shopping cart checkout. Jenny, thank you so much for joining me, and everyone else, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Mhm.